to episode 138 of the Concealed Taco News Podcast. Woo! All right, today we just have me, Taco.
Jason with Concealment Solutions.
This one we hope will be a shorter episode. We have been both going non-stop with everything. Outdoor stuff.
Outside playing a lot.
Yeah. Last week I spent the whole week up in the mountains, Boulder Mountain.
That is an awesome area. I love it up there.
And we did get to do a hike in Capitol Reef. Maybe we'll talk about that, our outdoor adventures later.
Yeah, okay.
After we talk about what we do with guns.
Okay.
Although it's kind of mixed.
It is.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let's knock out sponsors.
That sounds great. So first we have noebulletmolds.com and use coupon code FLT001 and it'll save you 10%. Also, as an FYI, they're having a 4th of July sale.
Ooh.
And I made sure to ask Al to verify that coupon code FLT001 will stack with the 4th of July sale.
Wow.
Which will stack with the $1,000
club
yes.
discount?
Yes.
Wow.
So it is a good chance or a good opportunity
to get free stuff.
To get stuff way discounted.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Probably what is that percentage off? Like, I don't know, like 30%
I don't know
off.
I don't know what his 4th of July sale is or what the $1,000 club discount
anyways,
is. So
it's a good way for you coupon stackers to get the best discount that you can.
Nice.
And so be aware of that. And if you haven't signed up for the emailer, I would recommend doing that because he doesn't really send a lot of junk mail out.
No.
It's just once every...
maybe once a month.
Once a month, twice a month.
Yeah.
And when he does send it out, it's an update of like which molds
in stock
have just been run.
Yeah. So you don't miss out on something you might have been waiting for.
So anyways.
Awesome. Also have Utah Air Guns at utahairguns.com, the one-stop shop for everything air guns.
And I guess I can talk about it later, but I am ramping up for a big shoot tomorrow.
Nice.
Hopefully.
Nice.
Hopefully it works through.
You can fill us in on that later.
We can just call it a air gun service project.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Anyway, they just wrapped up the Rocky Mountain Air Gun Challenge. We're going to get with probably Justin and Austin here in the next week or two and get filled in on how that all went. Looked like it was even bigger event than they've had in the past.
They looked a little frazzled.
Yeah. I went in there yesterday and they were, everybody was kind of like taking a deep breath and
Yeah. I will say if you are local, it's a good opportunity to go in and get one of those air tanks and
They're all gone.
They're all gone?
Yep.
Did you talk to...
They told me they were all gone.
Okay.
Maybe I misunderstood, but yeah, they had 20 new air tanks with my air tank caddies on them that they were using at the competition.
Yeah, with the fill station and everything.
Yeah, they're totally set up, and they basically after the competition's over, they sell them as used, and they were what were they like?
So the big ones are normally $700,
right?
So they're like $100 off or something.
Okay,
so $600.
Okay, and that includes the giving them with the caddy,
and the fill station thing.
So you're saving more than $100.
Yeah,
and they were used for 4 days.
Yeah, a week.
You know.
Yeah, mine. So I did go and I picked up one before they sold out, but it was a little dusty and dirty, but I was okay.
Who cares?
It was well worth the $100 to like get a wet rag and wipe it off.
Yeah.
So
anyway, maybe they still have some. I thought they'd sold them all, but I could be wrong.
Coupon code Air Candy, and it'll give you free shipping and turret stickers.
Yep, free shipping's big. Shipping's going up and up and up like everything else. We also have Black Ice Coatings, blackicecoatings.com. Those folks do some
great work,
extremely fine work on Cerakote, hydro dipping, Teflon coating, gun parts, anything really that you want refinished.
Yeah, awesome.
So they do an awesome job. Check them out. Follow them on social media so you can see what they're doing and be impressed like I am every time they post something. Yeah,
they do a good job.
Call them up and tell them you want it slickery.
You know what I was going to say? I well, I'll talk about with what we do with guns. But I finally took out that Ruger Predator in 223.
Yeah.
I really like that gun.
Oh.
But it is not the smoothest action.
Oh.
And I'm thinking about doing the bolt.
You know how to fix that.
Yeah, Teflon the bolt.
Yeah.
Because I've done that before with a bolt action.
Yeah.
It felt great afterwards.
I
so
bet.
I'm thinking with that little Ruger, that could be... I might even just do the whole, like, internal action.
Yeah.
Just Teflon coat it.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, it was anyways.
Then we have Magholder, magholder.com. Horizontal magazine carriers. If you're not using one, you're missing out because they're awesome. That's what I use. I make my own magazine carriers and I use a mag holder because for everyday carry, it's just convenient. It's comfortable. They work awesome. Use the code Get in the Van. I have candy, and you'll save like 20% or something like that. Some ridiculous amount. But check them out and pick up some swag too. These got belts and I think mouse pads and all kinds of stuff that you can get from Magholder now. And lastly, we have Concealment Solutions at concealmentsolutions.com. Holsters for every need, really. And I'm just getting into, with one of my suppliers for Kydex, I can custom print on the Kydex.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I just ordered one for the first time for a customer. His wife has this tattoo that she wants on her holster. And so I just ordered that up, so we'll see how that goes. If I like it, that's probably going to be an option that I'll list and have the website set up so you can upload whatever image you want, and then I can have it printed and build your holster with custom Kydex like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Awesome.
So, starting in a 4th of July sale also, so check that out. I don't know what the discount code is because...
Will it be on the website?
It's on the website.
Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
There'll be a banner on the front page of the website. So if you jump on this weekend, you'll see the code and be able to save a few bucks.
All right.
Okay, that's it.
Let's jump right into some listener feedback.
All right, what do we got?
All right, so here's what we got for listener feedback. We got the first one from Henry, and he says, "Hey gang, been a listener since the olden days of gun dudes, even the period of great silence."
He just listened to silence?
Yeah. And then he says, "I was still subscribed to the feed, then through the brief Stephanie occupation of the podcast, and now Concealed Taco Dudes."
Nice.
Awesome. Glad to have you.
Yeah.
He says, "I have a show suggestion. I've been looking at silencers. It would be nice if you guys can compare some of the methods of acquiring them. Silencer Shop, Silencer Co., etc., online or off, etc. And a brief comparison of price points as a primer would be nice. There are so many out there on YouTube, but it's difficult to know the differences as someone who has no silencer. Thanks a bunch."
Sounds like we need to do another silencer-specific episode because we've had several questions on, quality and price points, and now, again, what's the best way to go through the process. And we've talked about all those things before.
Yeah, bits and pieces in different episodes.
So we'll have to put together an episode just on all those things together.
It's crazy because you could go into a deep dive of just say like rimfire suppressors,
right,
and take up a whole episode on all the different recommended rimfire suppressors.
Yeah.
But
I don't think we want to do that.
No, we don't. But I do, how I was talking about, a guy to bring on the podcast for that?
Yeah.
So Jim Cannon, he might be a good guy.
For sure.
So I've been texting with him.
Okay.
Since he is a dealer and he does shoot a lot suppressed,
he
would be good. And then I haven't talked to Wyatt, but he might be fun to have on the podcast too.
Yeah.
Wyatt at Gunnies.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, cool.
Anyways, Spencer in Smyrna. He says, "Interesting discussion on suppressors last show. I had a really bad experience with the Gemtech Mist as well."
Oh.
Good to know I'm not the only one. "Not only does it not perform as well as my other 22 cans, it welds itself together if you don't clean it every box of ammo or so. The first time I did this, I had to send it back to them to break it free. Now I have a small strap wrench I can use, but it's still really annoying. I've also had a lot of problems with the chamber of this barrel. It doesn't like to feed most 22 ammo I've tried.
Wow.
If you want an integrally suppressed 1022, I would definitely recommend getting a takedown model and purchasing the Ruger 1022 takedown suppressor instead. I also had decent luck with the Yankee Hill integral, but I would avoid the mist at all costs. Also, I think the company you mentioned could ship to your door is Silencer Central. I'm not sure how that's legal since I had to go to the dealer to pick up every can I've ever bought, but they seem to be legit. Great show,
I'm not sure
and keep
how
up the good work.
How they do that legally either.
They do, because if they weren't legal, they'd be shut down as fast as...
Yeah, but why wouldn't everybody else do the same thing?
I don't know. I don't know if you have to, if they just run a check on you or what. Like, they have to do it, background check. But anyways, they probably just run it on the paperwork.
And then
whoever
how do they know that you're the one they're sending it to?
Maybe the address on the trust. All right, and then he continues and says, P.S. You may want to look up hide the candy in Urban Dictionary before you use it as a code. I think it has a different meaning than what you intend.
Good to know.
So maybe that's not a great coupon code to use. But and then Maurice J says, Cursed Guns. I think there was a movie, The Mexican. So I don't know.
I'll have to look it up.
Maybe he has a cursed gun in that movie.
Maybe.
Aaron W. writes in and says, thanks for answering my question. Great show, thanks. That was the one about, I think, suppressors and whip machine.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, we've got some work to do to assemble an informative suppressor show.
Yeah.
So.
And maybe we'll do 2 episodes back to back, part A, part B or something.
That might be what needs to happen, yeah. Okay, news. I have a news story, but I don't have it printed in front of me, so I'm working off of memory. But this one was interesting because I can see this being a common problem, and I have 3 adult daughters who are all single, and so it made me think of them also. But so what happens is you have this woman who creates a false profile on a dating app.
Oh, jeez.
Connects with this guy. He's coming over for a date, and basically she's setting him up to be robbed. So he's coming to her apartment, but before he gets to her apartment, she has sent her 18-year-old brother out to rob him, and they caught some of this on surveillance footage. But the kid pulls a knife on him, and this guy shoots him and kills him.
Does he still show up to the date?
No. And the girl is trying to claim that this guy was the aggressor and all this, and they're looking at everything and going, that's not what the footage that we're seeing is showing, and you have this profile and that's not actually you. And so she was arrested for murder.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The murder of her own brother.
The murdering her brother.
So, yeah, you are involved in committing a crime where somebody gets killed, that gets pinned on you.
Yeah. If you're an accomplice, yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm sure in her mind, she's like, I'm just going to make some quick, easy money. And I'm thinking, the guy knows where you live now, though. And maybe she was going to play innocent. Oh, that's so terrible that you got robbed and da-da-da-da-da and whatever. I don't know what. It wasn't a very well thought out plan to begin with.
They usually aren't.
No, yeah. It's not like the movies where they spend a year planning and have all this specialty equipment and yeah. So anyway, I've got daughters that I know use some dating apps and stuff like that, and talking with them, they're always like, oh, heck no. It's like if you meet anybody, you meet them in a public place, you go there separately so you can leave when you want to. You don't do this, you don't do that. And I'm like, okay, good. My girls they're playing safe, So I don't worry too much about them, but
yeah, well, you always worry. You always worry. If you have daughters, you always worry.
It's true. Anyway, I thought that was a unique experience or a unique news story to share with everybody.
Awesome. All right, let's move on into what we did with guns.
Okay.
And then that will be an extended what we did with guns, because we'll talk about the outdoorsy stuff we did too.
Okay. All right.
And that should probably take up the rest of the time.
Or at least the time we have.
Yes.
This is our lunch break episode.
It is.
So, well, I will start, since you usually have a lot more to talk about than I do. But, well, first of all, it was last week. So we've got chickens.
Mm-hmm.
And
all right, man, you're really stretching what we did with guns.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. We had one die recently that was sick, and my wife was like bawling. I should have put her out of her misery, and she suffered, and da 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 da. And I'm like, it's a chicken. That's what they do, you know. So a week later, there's another one. Same symptoms, same acting and everything, and she's like, "Will you kill it so it doesn't suffer?" I'm like, "Yes, I will." And she's like, "Okay, me and the kids are leaving. We're going to do this and this. Can you do it while we're not here?" I'm like, "I will. Yes, I'll do it while you're not here." So I grabbed my FX Dreamline Tactical, and it took me 30 minutes to line up the shot, because that stupid bird kept going places where I couldn't see it. And, and I'd have to go shoo it out, and all the other birds are wandering around. But it was kind of fun. And I got, you went
chicken hunting?
I went chicken hunting. Popped her in the head, and she flopped around for a minute, and it was over. And then she made me bury her. I'm like, "It's garbage day tomorrow." "No, we have to bury her."
Oh, jeez.
Bury her in the landfill.
Too old to throw in a stew or something, or what?
Oh, yeah. Well, and she, like, her belly was all distended, and it was not something you wanted to eat.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so I shot my air gun.
I went chicken hunting in the backyard.
It was awesome. Stalked her. But then last week, I was out of the shop all last week. I was up in Idaho with my brother. We were bike packing. So that's one of the big passions that we have. So we load up our mountain bikes with all our camping gear and everything, and we headed out for a week in the Idaho backcountry. Went up through Ketchum and Stanley and through the Sawtooth Mountains, and it was... after day 2, I looked at him and I said, "We need to be less ambitious on these trips," because we left on Monday morning. We started riding Monday morning. We got back to the car, so we did a loop. We got back to the car on Saturday at 6:30 p.m. We rode 345 miles, and we climbed over 23,000 feet of elevation.
Oh, geez. That's pretty nuts, dude.
We were out. We would leave at 9 in the morning, and we would get to camp between 8 and 9 at night. It was brutal. But it was absolutely gorgeous country. And I have to start bringing business cards on these trips. Every time, because we roll into these little towns, or we'll meet people that are out on their ATVs or whatever, and just strike up conversations with people. And I always get, when they find out what I do, "Oh, you have a card?" I'm like, "No, man, I'm like out on my bike." But I met on day 3, I think it was. We were climbing this pass. We went over a 9,000 foot pass this day. We were dying, and we're taking a break by the river. This guy pulls up in a Razor, and there was kind of a junction. He looked kind of lost, and so I went over and, "Hey, what's going on?" "Just trying to figure out which way I need to go." And so I'm, "Where are you trying to go?" And he tells me. I'm like, "Oh, you need to go this way." And I notice he's got a revolver on his hip, and I said, "Oh, what are you packing?" He's like, "Oh," he looks at me kind of confused, and he's like, "Oh, a shotgun?" I'm like, "That's not what's on your hip." He's like, "Oh, that's just my 357. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Yeah, I got an AR back there." So I'm like, "Nice." I'm like, "I got my SIG with me and the bag on my handlebars." And so we started talking, and he wants I gave him my information and everything. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll check it out." And then day 5, we're at this. Half the time we would roll into these places. We're like, okay. Because we'd been in some of these places before on previous trips. We're like, okay, remember that little grocery store out in the middle of nowhere. We can hang out and resupply there. Saturday at 10:30 in the morning, we roll up to this place, and I'm like, man, I need like a cold Mountain Dew or something. I need something to give me a little kick.
Cold Mountain Dew sounds really good right now.
You know, I don't ever drink that stuff, but I needed that on this day. Roll up there, closed. They're closed on Saturdays. I'm like,
wow.
What? They're open every other day, including Sunday.
Oh.
Sunday through Friday, they're open from like 8 to 6. Saturday, they're closed all day. I'm like, are you kidding? And they have a couple little gas pumps out front. And so I'm like, all right, whatever. So we're just sitting on a picnic table in front of this place, munching on some stuff. And this guy on one of those, what do you call them? Adventure bikes. Like a motorcycle. He's on a Triumph with the big square aluminum bags and all this stuff.
Yeah.
He rolls up to the pump and is getting off his bike like he's gonna fill up, and so I walk over and I'm like, dude, they're closed. He's like, what? They're closed? I'm like, yeah, the same. And so we started talking. I noticed he had stickers all over his bags from all the places he'd been, and one of them was a Guns and Coffee sticker, you know. And so we ended up talking about things, and yeah, my dad's doing this big trip, and he just left. He was with me, and then he left. He's going to the East Coast and then taking dirt all the way back to Washington on dirt.
What?
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the trail, but you connect it with pavement here and there, and he's doing it by himself. He's like, I tried to get him to take my pistol with him, and he wouldn't do it. And I was like, dang. I'm like, I've got mine with me. I'm not leaving without that. And so we started talking, and he was another one. He put all my info in the phone, and yeah, I need this and this and this. I'm like, I can do it. It's like, awesome. So it was kind of fun to see stuff like that. My brother, who I was with, was one of the people when I started Concealment Solutions. He's not a gun guy or anything, and he was like, really? He's like, you think you could make a living doing that? And he's like, how many people need holsters? And I'm like, well, I guess we'll find out. And after that guy took off on his bike, I looked at him and said, remember when you said that? He's like, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Because every time we do one of these trips, there's
somebody.
There's a few people that we talk to that, oh, cool, I need a holster. All right, I'll take care of you. I told those guys, I'm like, hey, if you place an order, let me know I met you in Idaho, you know. So, But anyway, that's what I did with guns.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to start out with the obvious thing. One of the obvious things. Okay. So, Antonio, our favorite pawn shop guy, he gave me heads up on something. I'm just going to make a little sound right here.
Giant revolver. Is that another 44?
Okay, this one, so I ended up picking this up yesterday. He gave me heads up on this super oddball revolver, and if you were to guess which company made this, what would you guess? Come on.
I want to say Uberti, but
okay,
it looks a little overbuilt for an Uberti.
Yeah, it's like thicker, bigger. It's pretty shiny too.
It is.
Okay, this is not. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, "Nah, that can't be right." North American Arms.
Nuh-uh.
The makers of the tiniest revolvers.
Tiniest little revolvers ever.
And this is like the size of a kind of like a Black Hawk.
It's a big gun.
A little bit overbuilt, right?
Yeah, I had no idea they made like real guns.
yeah. So apparently there were less than 600 of these made.
Although the trigger guard looks about right for what they do.
It's a little tiny square. That is the
tiniest trigger guard I've ever seen on a gun that size.
Yeah, that is true. That's funny, and it's like kind of a squarish shape. Yeah, that's interesting.
Looks like
when
looks
you
like a tiny Glock trigger guard.
Yeah. So what's interesting about this is there's under 600 made.
Yeah.
And it came with 3 cylinders.
Okay.
45 Colt.
Okay.
450 Mag Express.
What?
And then 45 Win Mag.
Holy moly!
Yeah, two oddball ones, and then one like usable.
Super common. Yeah.
So I threw in the 45 Colt cylinder because that's probably what I'll shoot in it. But I do have 45 Win Mag brass, and I will be able to make some ammo for that. And then it came with like basically 1.5 boxes of the 450 Mag Express ammo, which is I had to look it up because I had never heard of it before. But basically, it's a rimless 45 caliber, and it's kind of like a 45 Win Mag 45 Win Mag extended.
Huh.
Now, it's kind of interesting, this revolver. I'll need to do a video of it just to show it. But there's no transfer bar safety like the Rugers.
Yeah.
This kind of revolver, like Antonio was saying, he's like...
The half cock doesn't work.
There's no half cock.
So how do you load it?
You load one short, if you're carrying it.
Yeah. But I'm saying, how do you actually physically load it?
Oh, you just
usually
uncock it and then open it up. Yeah.
Oh.
So
that releases
it. It is a single action revolver.
So I was thinking it was going to be more like
the old
traditional
Colt style.
Yeah. So where you put it on half cock, then flip the gate.
It's more like a Ruger style, like a Black Hawk.
Okay.
But without the transfer bar safety.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's kind of like he gave me a killer deal.
That's a unicorn right there.
I had to go get cash to get the best deal.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I figured I could probably take this gun, shoot as much as I want, and then probably sell it for more than I paid.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But what I'll probably end up doing is sell my Ruger Black Hawk convertible, and then keep this because it's. I don't know, it's shiny. I like shiny.
You like shiny.
So it's a high polish stainless revolver.
Yeah. That's a good looking gun. That really surprises me that came out of North American Arms though. Which, for those of you listening, is just down the street from us.
Yeah, it's
just a few miles away.
This one it says North American Arms, Spanish Fork, Utah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Which they're not in Spanish Fork anymore.
They changed ownership about that, about the time that, or shortly after these were made.
Oh.
And so then when the new people came in, they just scrapped it. I don't know if there's a lawsuit involved with Ruger. It's like the hearsay. But,
okay.
Yeah, 45, and on the barrel it says 45 Win Mag, 450 Mag Express. So I don't know where you could get 450 Mag Express brass even.
It seems like if they wanted to make a single action revolver, instead of copying something that's in current production that may have patents on it, why not just do the old 45 Colt single action, whatever, that's been around forever, that is a classic that is never going to die.
Yeah. It's interesting though, it does appear overbuilt.
Yeah, it does.
It's thick everywhere.
It is.
But it's...
Except the trigger guard.
Well, even that it's just not large, but it's thick.
Yeah.
Thick enough. Anyways, it's kind of a cool thing. I'll try to do a video on it or throw some pictures on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
But that was, I picked up that. That was kind of a unique little deal.
Yeah.
Probably the rarest gun I have,
Yeah. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Besides that, so my last week was spent up in the Boulder Mountain area.
Yeah.
And our first day we did...
Which is not in Colorado,
it's not, wondering. It's in Utah.
It's in Utah.
And it's kind of a really unique geographical location.
Yeah.
Because you are surrounded by desert.
Yeah, and you're on this mountain and it's full of aspens and pines.
From... Like, I took a picture of the lake. We were on top of the mountain, and we were on camping at... Our base camp was at Miller Lake.
Okay.
And it's really rough road to get there. Probably killed my alternator. I don't know. My truck, I felt like it was rattling to pieces getting there. And, there's some bigger rocks in the road and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, you look out, I'd open my tent door, I'd look out, and it looks like I'm in, like, Idaho, Washington, or Oregon.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
Pine trees, aspens, like just beautiful lake, everything. But you're in the middle of this. Yeah. You're on top of a mountain in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
And it's
40 minute drive in either direction, and you're in like Red Rock Desert country.
We were and that lake in particular sits at about 10,000
10,000 feet.
Feet, of elevation. And we only had, of our group of, I think 2 or 3 people got elevation sickness.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just like headaches and nausea?
Yeah, puking. Usually it's like the first day you puke and feel nauseous, and then after that your body acclimates pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, and that's the problem when you drive to that elevation. If you hike to it,
then you'd be fine.
It's a little bit different. Your body acclimates a little better.
So I didn't get any elevation sickness because I'm always up in the mountains doing crap. So
yeah. Huh.
But yeah, one of the leaders who drove up midweek, he had a rough time. So,
sometimes it's really hard to sleep at higher altitudes when you're not adjusted to.
Yeah, man, I tell you, with the weather being here like in the 90s and stuff, the first night there, it dropped below freezing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so some of our water froze and stuff.
Nice.
I slept so good.
Yeah.
I wish I could take the cold nights from there.
Yeah.
And have the hot days.
So Idaho, every day was like mid-70s. Except the last day, and it was freaking hot, and we had 2 passes that we went over that were miserable. But I forgot to tell you one part of the story that our listeners will appreciate. So, bike packing, you don't have a whole lot of space. It's not like a giant backpack that you shove everything. We don't put anything on our backs. It's all on the bikes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, hey, let's coordinate some gear so we're not doubling up on stuff. And so we brought one stove, 1 tent, 1 first aid kit, that kind of stuff. And my brother's like, I just got this super awesome tent. He's a total gear freak. He probably has 12 tents. But he's like, I got this super nice, ultralight 2-man tent. It'll be perfect. I'm like, great, you bring the tent. Sunday, on Father's Day, is when we left to drive out there. We pull into Boise at about 9 p.m. and he goes, oh crap. I'm like, what? I forgot the tent.
Oh no.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
No.
And so our starting point was about 30 miles outside of Boise. So he's like, it was kind of stormy. He's like, I'll just get a hotel for tonight, and Monday morning before we drove to our starting point, we went to Lowe's and bought a painter's tarp. That's what we spent our whole week sleeping on, and we just slept on top of it. We had paracord, so we could have made a shelter and stuff like that, but we didn't need to, and it was pretty nice.
Just slept on a tarp under the stars.
Yep. The first night though, I'm asleep, and we're right at the river. It was just beautiful. Stars are out. I'm out cold. All of a sudden, he like, hey, get out of here! He's like freaking out. I'm like, what is going on? He's like, there was a skunk right next to my head.
Oh no!
I'm like, huh? And I'm like, okay. And I roll over and go back to sleep. And like an hour later, same thing. Hey, get out of here! He's like, it was a bigger one this time.
Oh jeez.
We get up the next morning, and right next to his bike, there's this little tiny like golf ball size hole that one of them had dug. He's like, I think I dropped a Frito there last night. I'm like, so you brought him into camp. Because we hung our food every night.
We did like a bear bag type thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Not so much. We were in bear country, but more for the little rodents that tear through your gear to get to your stuff. But
yeah, they bite holes in your tents, that kind of stuff.
They chew through your pack and everything. So anyway, that was pretty entertaining.
Skunk. There's not very many things that scare me, but skunks. They scare me.
Oh, can you imagine? That was our first night. If we got sprayed,
you guys would be done.
It would have been horrible.
Oh man, that would have been bad.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we were camping up at about 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
And the first day we went down the mountain. So I went up Father's Day to secure the campsite, right?
Okay.
So we left at 8 p.m. and got settled at like 2.
Oh gosh.
2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then we woke up early. Went back down the mountain to meet the rest of the group at Capitol Reef National Park, and we did a cool Sulphur Creek water hike.
Cool.
And come to find out, so we had checked the weather. We were monitoring the weather really closely,
which is important to do.
Very important,
especially when you're in canyon country.
Yes, desert
anytime
canyon
you're
country.
In the back country.
Yeah, and so we knew that it was going to storm Wednesday night Wednesday evening.
At least
and
that's
then,
what was predicted.
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday was supposed to clear up a little bit. That was the forecast, and we were watching it like a hawk.
Yeah.
Because, anytime you do slot canyon stuff or canyon anything, you got to know for
flash floods are huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been in Moab, not even just driving along the highway when a big storm rolled in, and instantly all the cliffs around you turn into waterfalls.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere. It's like, holy. And we weren't anywhere where it was going to flash flood, but just watching instantly all this water just pouring off of the cliffs was
And I think
amazing.
it's even worse in the desert places because the water can't soak in.
Yeah, the ground's so hard.
Yeah, it acts like clay, and the water just goes right over it. But you guys should send Ricky a message about checking weather. So Ricky and his young men's group,
they were in Capitol Reef.
They were in Capitol Reef on Thursday.
Yeah.
And
so they had 5 vehicles with them. And where they were hiking, was it Cassidy Arch or
Cassidy
something
Arch.
like that?
Yep.
So you drive up a canyon to get to it.
Yes. It's like walls on both sides to get there.
Yeah, and a flash flood came in. There's video of Ricky's truck washing down the river.
It's like swimming away.
And just getting battered and flooded. So I talked to him yesterday about it again. One of the guys with him had a brand new truck. It was a month old. He'd spent $200,000 on this truck.
Oh no.
And it went down the river with his truck. Oh. One of the other cars didn't move from where it was, but it was so packed full of mud and debris and stuff that they couldn't get it started. Another one, they got it started. The guy drove it home, and when he pulled into his driveway, it died. Took it to the mechanic. The mechanic's like, yep, it's dead. It's done. So one of the 5 vehicles survived that trip.
That sucks.
That sucks bad.
But
and Ricky had like 12 guns and with rifles with optics and stuff like that in his truck, and the mess that and as of yesterday, his truck was still embedded in the mud in the riverbed. They haven't got it out yet.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really sucks.
Anyways, pro tip.
Watch the weather.
Check the weather all the time if you're doing canyon stuff.
But even when you do, I mean, the weather in Utah changes so drastically. I think we got rain, not a lot, granted, but we got rained on twice in the last 2 days, and rain was not forecast at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you do your best.
That stuff happens.
You do your best.
But
with what you got.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wednesday night the storm rolled in on top of the mountain.
It was big.
There was crazy wind and hail and rain. I had earplugs in and I could still hear like everything pounding my tent.
Oh gosh.
But
you guys all stayed dry?
Yeah, everybody stayed dry.
Nice.
Everybody was okay because we were on top of the mountain.
Yeah,
and
that's not a good place to be either in a major storm. But
yeah, it's way better than
in the canyon.
Yeah, we were sheltered from.
You're up in the trees and stuff.
And we had made sure that the boys had staked their tents down and their rain flies.
Yeah.
And the guy lines, everything.
Oh yeah.
So
I saw a video the other day. They said, buy this ultralight tent, it'll be awesome. And it's like
it's like a kite.
It was sailing away in the air. It's like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Well, so what's interesting is that same hike we did on Monday, totally safely and everything.
Yeah.
People had to be airlifted out, rescued
Thursday.
on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
all it takes.
Yeah. So Thursday for us was kind of just a relaxing day, rain off and on and stuff.
Just kind of hung out around camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Friday we did our shooting day.
Oh, nice.
It was so good. Like we brought. You should be proud of me. I think I limited it to like under 10 guns.
No.
Yes. Yeah. So I had the boys pick them out, and they picked out. So we brought our break action 300 blackouts with tons of bunny farts, and we were playing a knockout game.
Okay.
Because we found the boys were just shooting at easy targets, and like kind of there's no reason for them to like.
There's no challenge.
No challenge. No like nothing to gain, nothing to lose. Right.
Right.
So I I said, hey, we're going to play knockout. And so what they would do is they lined up, right? And we had 2 shooters, one with, like, my buddy Riley. He has an identical CVA scout rifle, and we had silencers and everything on it. And so the first boy would call out a shot, and then he has to shoot it and hit it.
Okay. So it's like playing horse with guns.
But like kind of like horse and knockout, like, or bump or whatever you call it.
I don't know, knockout or
it's when you have 2 shooters going at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if that person called the shot and they miss it, and the second shooter hits it,
then they're out. I gotcha.
And then,
so there's some timing involved.
Yes, and then if both people make it, then the second shooter gets to pick the next shot.
Yeah.
Now, if 3 people, or if those 2 shooters all hit all the shots 3 times in a row, then they're both out because they didn't pick too easy of shots. So that was to help save ammo and to keep things interesting.
Yeah.
Because they started picking easy shots, and you know, of course the other guy's not going to miss a silhouette target at, you know, whatever.
Right.
So then we had a couple shots that were like, the angle was difficult because there's a tree in the way. And so, so they had to pick different colors of targets, different shapes, different sizes, and all different distances.
Nice.
So they had a really good time with that. And then I also brought up 2 lever guns, one in 357 and one in 44 mag, and of course suppressed. And I had brought up those wad cutters. Yeah. The same style of wad cutters that I made for Mark's daughter. Right. That I still need to get to her. Yeah. But it was so funny to hear. It's kind of like the bunny farts, you know, just you can hear them flying through the air. Yeah. Like, they're just full wad cutters. So this like trash can bullet like flying through air. Yeah, whistling down the range, and then tink when you hit the steel. So they had a great time shooting those, and then I took the Ruger American Predator or Ruger Predator. Okay. And that one, I tested out that new suppressor. It was the Odin Works. Oh yeah. Baja 5.56. Okay. And I put that on it because I wanted something that was a little bit more lightweight and stuff. But it actually sounded pretty decent for being a smaller can and you know, cheap. So great can for the $1. Okay. And then we brought those. Riley brought out those. He has this little 7.5-inch 5.56 AR pistol. Okay. Loud. Oh, so we put the little OSS suppressors on. And with the flow through and everything design, they sounded good enough.
Like no ear protection, good enough, or
without hearing protection, it was at the shooter's ear. It was safe. Okay. But it wasn't quiet. Yeah. But we weren't expecting it to be quiet. Yeah. So we shot those. That was really fun. 9mm AR-15. That was great. And then of all the surplus rifles, what would you guess that the boys picked for me to bring?
The surplus rifles.
You kind of have to think video game.
Well, you don't have an M1 Garand, do you?
I do.
Oh, you do? You probably wouldn't have let them take that.
I would have.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was the K98.
Oh, okay, yeah, so that makes sense.
German K98.
Yeah.
I think it's in all the video games.
It's a classic rifle.
Classic rifle.
World War II.
One of the boys, when I asked them what they had to pick, you know, a certain amount of guns for me to bring. Do you have a Car 98? Yeah. Can you bring it? Yeah.
Nice.
But it was good trigger control practice because some of the ammo, like I have this old 8mm Mauser ammo that's like, sometimes it would take 2 strikes before
it would go off.
Going off, and you know. But so it was good to see, you know, if they flinch. And one kid flinched so bad, it was hilarious. I wish I had it on video, but he like pulled the trigger and then just almost like jumped, like in anticipation for the recoil. And you know, it was. I got some really good pictures and videos of their expressions when they shot it. But not all of them, because some of them were afraid of shooting it, you know, because it's a metal butt plate, like World War II.
Not the most comfortable gun in the world to shoot.
But some of them, they were so happy to shoot it and excited. But
cool.
They all missed. I gave them a few shots and then, you know, but I think they're anticipating the recoil so much that just it's kind of like shooting a 50 BMG. Like you don't really have to hit your target. Like just shooting it is the experience.
Sure.
That's kind of how it was for them.
Cool.
But yeah, so anyways, we did a shooting day and it was great. It's always good to give the boys an opportunity to shoot guns that shooting guns in general.
Yeah.
Also shooting guns with silencers and other things.
Yeah.
So that they can experience it and know that, hey, this is the reality of a silencer. It doesn't turn it into the movie pew pew.
Yeah. Well, and letting them shoot stuff that they're familiar from the games they play too is cool.
Oh, it was a highlight for them to shoot like an AR-15 and like the K98, and they thought that it's kind of like I predicted. The Ruger, they really liked the Ruger because that was like the most accurate rifle in their eyes,
the
right?
Predator?
Yeah, the Predator, and I had a Vortex Viper PST, one of the new ones.
Nice.
So the optics were really good on it. And you could just hit anything with it.
Yeah.
And it's 223, so it's like, at the distances, we were just short of, like the farthest targets were just short of 200 yards, so...
Yeah.
For them, when we were setting the targets out, they had to walk the targets out.
Yeah.
They're like, oh man, this is really far. Do you think we can actually hit stuff? I'm like, oh dude, easy.
Yeah.
No worries. But yeah, it was cool. And they got to shoot lever actions and, so different genres of guns. And
very cool.
And, give them safety tips. We had a few of them. We kind of gave the, safety discussion, 4 rules of gun safety, all that. And then we added, hey, if we catch you screwing around like horseplay and stuff, you're out.
Yep.
And if it's bad enough, you're out for the whole day.
Yeah.
And that got them paying attention real good.
Yeah.
Because, I explained to them, guns are not inherently dangerous. Like shooting guns it's not an inherently dangerous activity itself. It's when you break one or more of those 4 rules of gun safety that somebody gets hurt.
Yep.
Or someone can get hurt.
Yeah.
And so
it's when you get casual about it.
Yep, when you think you know everything. Mm-hmm. And that was another thing that was interesting to teach the boys is the not thinking they know everything and admitting when they are wrong.
Yeah.
Those are 2
teenage
super
boys.
difficult things. And
there's some adults that can't do that.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. There's one kid who got whipped cream on my buddy Riley's ice chest. Uh-huh. And he was telling the boy, hey, what are you doing to my ice chest? Clean up, clean it up.
Clean up after yourself.
That wasn't me. He's holding the can of whipped cream in his hand, and he's got whipped cream on his plate, and it's like you caught him red-handed, but of course this kid like denying it. I walk over there, I'm like, no, we know you did it, we saw you. You need to apologize to him.
Yeah. And
then he gets really awkward, kind of starts shaking a little bit and looking up at the sky and looking all around and trying to change the subject. I said, no, you need to apologize to him.
And then fix it.
and then clean it up.
Yeah. Not a big deal.
10 minutes.
Really?
Like legit 10 minutes. We were standing there. And I'm kind of a stubborn guy. Yeah. But it's the principle of being a person of your word, making mistakes and owning them. Yeah. Everyone makes mistakes.
Right.
And then,
and then fix it.
It's yeah. And so we had to have, finally, like, because all the other boys start gathering around because it's this weird, awkward situation. Yeah. And, like, bizarre. But sometimes I wonder about these boys' parents, like, what are they not doing?
Does mama just follow you around cleaning up all your messes behind you?
Probably.
I know there are people like that.
But anyways, it led to a good discussion that night around the campfire of being able to own your mistakes and improve. Because if you can't admit that you're wrong when you're wrong, then you cannot improve. Yeah. You're stuck. Yep. And then we also, this was earlier in the week, and so we said, and if you're not humble enough to acknowledge when you're wrong, we can't trust you, which in turn, we can't trust you to shoot guns. Right. Which they were super excited to do. Right. And so it was a good way to incentivize behavior change.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest problems in the world right now
Society,
is being accountable. Nobody wants to be accountable for their actions.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I think and there were multiple instances of, boys having issues of not being able to take ownership of their mistakes.
Yeah.
I think in their minds, they convince themselves so much that it really isn't their fault.
Yeah.
Like, in their minds, they're not lying.
Yeah.
They think it's not their fault, or that they didn't do that it had to have been someone else, even though they're holding the can of whipped cream.
Yeah.
It's like so bizarre to me. But yeah, it was good because we had a good discussion, and as much as I don't want to be a parent to these other boys, it's
right?
Like, their parents should do that.
Yeah, but in a situation like that, that's you have to be. You have to step in and be the boss.
Yeah. Otherwise, no shooting guns because we can't trust you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
So,
well, so they learned some stuff.
They did learn some stuff.
Fun.
Yeah, they learned, and everybody came home with the same amount of holes as when they left.
That's always a bonus.
Yes, nice. And we didn't make the news. Those are like the goals we always have. Don't make the news. And although Ricky, he made the news.
He did.
Yep.
He did.
Sorry, man. Hopefully you get a new truck or something.
Oh gosh. Oh. The vehicle is the easy part.
Yeah.
Getting reimbursed for everything else is going to be the hard part.
Oh yeah. Well, and they're lucky that no one got hurt.
Yeah. No. And nobody. Yeah. They were up on the rim filming.
Yeah, they were on the trail, watching the cars float away. The funniest part is sick. So Ricky's truck is washing down the thing. Uh-huh. I hear a kid's voice. Oh man, my shoes are in there.
Yeah, I know. I heard that, and they're all laughing. Yeah. I'm like,
it's like, oh geez.
Yeah, they're all laughing.
You guys have no idea.
Ricky's truck is being destroyed before his eyes. I'm like, oh, that is so sad.
Yeah. So, anyways, we are out of time. Our lunch break is over.
Yep. Back to work.
Thanks for tuning in, and stay safe. Have fun.
Safe and be nice to people.
And check the weather. Never-ending cost of owning an old truck. Oh. And it sucks. But it's like, I can't afford a $60,000 truck or anything.
No kidding.
So, anyways.